spanning the globe. Through the power of the World Wide Web. It's Stacey and Steve's Cringe Fest. And now, here are your hosts, Stacey and Steve.
Here we go again, Cringers. I'm Stacey.
And I'm Steve.
House from 1985. My pick.
Or 1986.
If you put in 1986, it doesn't pop up. If you put 1980, you were the one who found that.
I know, but it in some places it's listed as 1985 and 1986.
Right.
But we're okay. Let's start again. We're back from our short break.
Yes.
I peed. You peed. My dog peed. Did your dogs pee?
I was too busy giving them love.
So you're risking potential bladder issues.
No, they went out before we started all this mishap.
Yeah. Okay. All right. We finished talking about your vacation.
Our vacation.
You're right. Our vacation. Yeah.
Because that was a lot of fun. Everybody got to enjoy themselves. You enjoyed yourself. Stevie, my husband, enjoyed himself.
And I've got a new best friend.
Yeah. And I got to meet.
Maybe sexual. It may turn that way. I'm not sure.
No.
You don't think so? Really? He's not into me that way? Okay. All right.
We're not going to tell him about this episode. Steve, if you're listening to this episode, I'm very sorry. He started this conversation on his own, and there was
no
comment on Facebook.
I just want to clear the air. I just want to make sure that some of those signals I got were
all in your head.
Misinterpreted. Yeah.
Not like this movie, which is.
Oof.
I love this movie. This is.
I know you did.
Movie.
I know you love this movie, and it is. It's a cute movie. It's a horror movie, but not
horror. And 80s horror.
Horror. I have problems with that word. It's a horror movie. Horror. It's a horror movie.
Horror. It's a tittle. Stacey's a little tittle. Blood and gore.
But yeah, it was, I guess it's worth watching, right?
I tried to watch the sequel, but it's all paid at this point.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
So I heard that the mailman guy is in the sequel. Did you watch enough of that to see that?
I did see it in the trivia. I was going to mention it.
So Norm, the bar, the guy that holds down the end of the bar at Cheers is in the first one. Movie.
Yeah.
And Cliff, the mailman's from Cheers, is in the second movie.
Which I think is absolutely hilarious. It makes me so happy.
Pretty hysterical. All right. So do you want me to give you the overview?
I would love for you to try to do an overview of this.
Oh, yeah. Okay. So the movie is House. It's an American medical drama that stars Hugh Laurie, Dr. Gregory House.
Which is funny because his accent is amazing.
Oh my God. The fact that, I mean, I don't know how many episodes of this I watched before I realized that he wasn't American, that he was.
You never watched a bit of Fry and Laurie?
No, I didn't make the connection. Yes, I've watched all of Fry and Laurie.
I love Fry.
Yeah. And
if you want.
I didn't realize it was the same guy until I went to see I went to see Hugh Laurie at the Ram's Head Tavern in Annapolis, Maryland, doing a one-man show where he plays the piano and sings, and he's a shitty singer, but he's a really good piano player. And when he stopped and spoke to the audience, I thought, oh, wow. Okay. Yeah. Dr. House has a different accent. So anyway, yeah. So
wrong house.
Wrong house.
Wrong house.
So he's like a very unconventional, what do you call him? Curmudgeon, right? He's a medical genius. He's addicted to pain medication. and I that's what I remember about the movie. Stacye tells me it was another movie called House.
House was a TV show.
Yeah.
House is a movie.
Okay, so we're talking about the one that stars William Catt, the greatest American hero.
And it's not a brick house. Well, it has some bricks in it.
Yeah.
To be fair.
And it has George Wendt in it, right? From Cheers.
And one of my favorite actors, Richard Mole.
Richard Mole from Night Court, Bull from Night Court, right?
Yeah.
And so let's see. The plot is I was confused because usually it's Dr. House has this team of crack diagnosticians, and they somebody presents themselves with some horrible disease, and
it's not lupus unless it is.
Yeah, right. And they medicate the person. They come up with all these reasons that they think they're wrong or they're right, and then Dr. House comes in and says, everybody lies all the time. I need more opioids. Yeah, okay. Stacye just texted me and said, talk about the movie, please. Okay, I'll get there.
I appreciate the fact that you watched House and you took notes on the TV show House.
I watched like 6 seasons of House and took notes on it. Dr. House says, everybody lies. You did have sex with that bat in Wuhan, and you're responsible for the pandemic, and he saves the day. But no, in this version of House, we have a young father. His name is Robert. He has a very beautiful wife named Sandy, who's an actress, and this all-American boy, Jimmy. And they live at, or they're at their aunt, Robert's aunt's house.
Mm-hmm. Until
a real house, not
it's not a real
physical house of bricks and things.
It's a physical house, but anyway, I'll say that to trivia.
Yeah, we'll get there. So Aunt Elizabeth that owns the house. It's a beautiful house. She like hangs herself, but that happens kind of later in the series or in the movie.
Movie.
Yeah,
not
movie.
Episode, not
Movie.
series.
We're talking about the movie, not the series. Keep me on track here. Jimmy, the boy, goes missing.
Throws the marriage in turmoil.
The marriage goes to hell. It goes to hell in a benevolent way for the wife because it seems to help her career. Because she's a big Hollywood big deal. And I think the mom's name was Sandy, but it could have been Tanya because there were two women in the movie. I'm going to call her Sandy. There was Sandy, the actress, and then there was this next door neighbor named Tanya. But I could have that reversed.
Tanya's the one who pawned her kid off to Roger. Sandy is the wife.
Sandy's the wife. Okay. Tanya is Tanya shows up like in the aunt's pool, and she's got this one-piece baby. You weren't alive in the 80s, were you?
I'm 44 today. I was born in 1979. This was 1985/86.
Okay, so you were 6 years old. And by the way, happy birthday, Stacye. Happy birthday. It's Stacye's birthday today. And even though I wished her happy birthday on all social media and all that sort of stuff, I forgot to mention it at the beginning of this podcast. So I'm sorry. Happy birthday, Stacye. You don't look a day older than, I don't know, 27. Is that okay?
Yeah, I use a lot of moisturizer. And I'm Swedish and Irish.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hence the purple hair.
It's awesome. Don't diss.
It's awesome. I just spent a week with you. I saw the looks you got.
I got compliments. And it needs to be redone.
You got catcalled once on the street, but that was me.
I was going to say that was totally you.
I was driving by in a car and I catcalled her. But yeah. Okay. So Sandy's the super hot mom. Tanya's the super hot next door neighbor. Tanya shows up in jogging in a costume right from Olivia Newton-John's Physical, don't you think?
So it goes through all the neighbors that are important to this.
Yeah, and George Wendt is the neighbor. Tanya though shows up like creepily in the aunt's pool.
Yeah, well, and then she comes back and she's trying to flirt. Weird.
Yeah,
and then she just here's the thing though, is in between all of this, the house starts giving Roger its true nature.
I was getting to that.
So get to it faster.
Bite me. Okay.
I can't. I'm 11 hours away on
all right. I still have a mark here from the last time. Does that count? It's on my arm. You remember that?
I do.
Remember taking a little nibble out of my right arm.
I just had to make sure you were real.
I know. Okay. Yes, there's all this weird supernatural crap that happens. The aunt hung herself, but then we find Bobby, our lead character, is continually haunted by his auntie, who has all
the house and his memories.
House. And the auntie keeps saying things like, "It's the house. It's the house. The house is going to kill you."
And the house took your son.
The house steals their little boy, Jimmy. Let's see. So yeah, it couldn't
have. Okay, I loved this movie. I have more memories about this movie than you did.
The boy disappears. I'm going to finish my summary. The boy disappears in the pool. At least
will you though, before I really start to annoy the hell out of you?
Yes, I will. Because I have the editing control.
I can walk away.
I can edit you out. All right.
This is what happens when you spend physical time with the other person. Is you start getting so snarky.
We were so snarky together in the car, weren't we? We drive in the car, and Stacye.
We should have recorded us watching Cocaine Bear.
And I would snark back at her, and she would snark back at me.
And we
poor
tap
Steve
each other
in the back seat. I kept looking in the rearview mirror, watching Steve while we're snarking at each other like brothers and sisters.
But except the brother's driving the car, the sister's in the front seat, and the responsible adult is in
responsible adult is in the back seat trying to just zone out. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. And then okay. All right. So we learned that our hero Bobby is a Vietnam vet. He's got all this PTSD stuff going on. Let's see. At one point they think there's a raccoon in the closet. It's really a monster. There's all kinds of monsters that show up. They're flying monsters. There's lots of good monsters.
Why I love 80s.
There really were a lot of really good, really cheesy monsters.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah. They weren't perfect. They weren't like CGI perfect. They were obviously
there was no CGI.
Yeah. Puppets and models and stuff like that. But that was it. I don't know. I would sum it up by saying this is a funny movie with a little bit of horror. I would also say that
literally
Stacye loved it and I absolutely hated it. So whichever side of our she's a little bit blood and gore, I'm a little bit campy thing you're on, take that for what it's worth. So what do you want to say about this movie, Stacye?
So in
I'm gonna eat a cracker.
You eat a cracker, weirdo.
Did you eat these crackers at my house?
I don't know. Which ones?
Little packet of crackers. Yeah.
The granolas or the cracker?
No, they're just a little salty. It's Lance salty.
Oh yes, I did.
All right, well, I'm gonna.
Because I'd never heard of Lance before.
Yeah, Stacye left a lot of good leftovers. Alex had some lobster mac and cheese last night that Steve left. That was his.
Yeah. And there was also the Philly cheesesteak, not of Philly, because we decided that we weren't going to do Philly.
Yeah.
Which I'm glad that we didn't.
He was a little disappointed. And
yeah, that's what Steve said too. So the puppets, the war demon, the major bad guy.
If the audio screws up, it's because I'm eating a cracker. But go ahead.
18 feet tall and was operated by 15 people.
Wow.
So there was a moment where he's the main character Bobby is trying to record, like he buys every single piece of equipment to record all this stuff, and half the time he doesn't even hit record. But
that was a really good cracker, by the way. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So what's interesting is one of the major films.
It was just perfect. Not too much salt, just enough crisp. Okay, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
So in Hong Kong, it was known as "Don't go into the haunted house after midnight." Now, there is a time where the monsters come out. That being said, as a creature feature, which, by the way, Cringers is a category in this year's...
That's true. Cringy Awards.
Cringy Awards, which we didn't have last year.
Yeah, you heard that podcast last week, and you can go...
And if you haven't, go back and listen.
sscringefest.com/store and buy the commemorative t-shirt.
So Glenn Close and Sigourney Weaver were considered for the wife.
Oh, but neither of them would have taken this role. Really?
But
can you imagine Glenn Close in this role? I'm sorry.
Well, Glenn Close in the 80s, you know, Sigourney Weaver did the Alien series, which I think she would have reacted. She would have reacted to the puppetry really well, but I think Glenn Close would have nailed the more emotional.
Oh, absolutely. But do you think she would ever have agreed to do it?
But in the 80s, she wasn't Glenn Close as we know her now.
Oh, yes. Oh, no. Okay. All right.
Kay Lenz, thank you so much for taking this role because you nailed it.
Good. She was good.
Nailed it.
All right. Well, nailed it. Okay. I got to qualify that. She nailed it in the context of this movie, which is a horrible movie.
It's a beautiful movie.
Okay. All right.
Anyway, so a lot of the imagery is created in the puppets, and the puppets and everything was made in about 8 weeks. It was a beautiful movie, and it should win an award. I'm nominating it for next year's Cringies, and try to stop me.
You nominate away, dear. But our voting process is
random and fucked up because no one knows what we did.
Our voting process is however I design it every year, and I change it every year. This
is the second year. Every year is 2.
Okay. I am the Republican Party of the Cringy Awards. I change the rules every year.
Wow, you went political.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm just telling you, I'm pretty good at changing the rules and getting you to agree to them. But we'll deal with that in a year.
Yeah.
Because this year's Cringy Awards have already passed, and the commemorative t-shirt can be bought at sscringefest.com/store.
I have low sales resistance.
$22 full price. Wait for sale. You can get it for about $60.
Wait a week.
Yeah.
Oh, and don't forget our special everlasting stickers and magnets sale.
Everlasting. You can buy.
Not like the candy, because I'm going to tell you, I used to use the everlasting gobstoppers to help me with my ear problems on a plane.
Really?
By the way, way smaller. Hi chew, ladies and gentlemen. If you have dental work and you're not sure if you're going to be able to chew something, hi chew, my ears were fine by the time I got back to Alaska after
so are there a better size than
No, it's just the difference of the jaw muscles and the ears.
But the current everlasting gobstoppers,
they're tiny, not like the
do they last everly?
No.
Okay. But did your ears stayed open?
My ears and
because when you got here, when I picked you up in Baltimore, you could barely walk from your airplane induced.
That was the vertigo.
Vertigo, right?
I could still hear you. My ears were just fine. The vertigo was bad. Usually 2 to 3 flights will mess up my ears. Had nothing to do
with those little bottles of vodka they serve you on the plane.
I only asked for alcohol from Anchorage to Seattle.
Really? That was like 6 a.m.
Don't judge me.
I'm not judging you, but well, maybe I.
No, it wasn't. We got on the plane
maybe
at midnight.
I am a little bit. Yeah.
It was 2:00 in the morning.
Okay, and then you get on the plane in Seattle, and it's like you're not getting to Baltimore till 3 or 4 in the afternoon. Are you drinking on that?
I can't remember, so I plead the fifth.
Must be then. Okay. All right. Tell me more about this movie that you loved and I hated.
This movie had a lot of little details. I found amusing and amazing. And if you like my kind of movies, watch this. If you don't and you want to watch Birdemic, just...
Okay. It had William Catt, the greatest American hero from the 70s or the 80s. It had
George Wendt
from Cheers. It had Richard Mall from Night Court.
This is how they were actually able to make these things, because they were smaller actors at this point, and then they got bigger.
Richard Mall is not a small actor.
Richard Mall is
he's a big man.
I'm rewatching the original series, by the way.
George Wendt's a big guy. I wouldn't say there are no small actors. That's from the greatest Christmas play ever. All right. I'm gonna break the fourth wall here. Stacye just sneezed so hard that her headphones fell off. That is the most amazing thing. I wish we recorded the video, because
if only we recorded the video. I'm sure that if you were good enough at editing, you could just loop that shit for 3 minutes.
Oh, yeah. No, yeah. All right. So there was a sequel. The postman from Cheers was one of the stars, Ratzenberger, whatever his name is. There was a third movie made, but they didn't call it House 3. They called it House something else. Did you see that? They called it House something else. They released it in Europe, and then they released it in the U.S., and they called it House 4 when they released it in the U.S. Same movie. The mystery is, where is House 3? I think it's that episode where House discovers that girl had beriberi because she'd been on that trip to Africa. She lied about it, and his team completely screwed that up. They gave her steroids. She reacted really badly to that. And House came in and said she just needs a shot of penicillin and she'll be fine. And they gave her the shot of penicillin and she was fine. And she became the delegate to the United Nations for Serbia, as I recall.
Unless you're me, and if he gave me a shot of penicillin, I'd be dead.
Or a bite of a Nutter Butter.
Oh, no, that will only make my tongue feel funny.
Okay, all right. So if you eat tree nuts, your tongue feels funny, but penicillin kills you. Okay, all right. Well, that's good to know.
Yeah.
It's really good.
So, Cringers.
Yes.
Should we say goodnight?
We should say goodnight. We should also, but before we say goodnight, we should say on our webpage, we have a section for poetry.
Poetry, yep. We have 2 poems.
We have 3.
3 poems.
We have a poem by Dave Weiss. We have a poem by A.K. Ripper.
Yeah.
A.K.A. your brother Aaron. We have a poem by Harold E. Coli.
Yep.
That's right.
Here.
I forgot about that one.
So we want to give back to the arts. Howard's Clams has been kind enough to. We do. They've been kind enough to sponsor us in our artistic endeavors, and we would like.
This is art. Nope.
Huh?
This is art.
Yeah, this is art. This is art. No. We are what we are doing is art. It's avant-garde.
So avant-garde that I make seal sounds.
It's so avant-garde that it pisses off a lot of people. And that's the definition.
Okay.
We want more poetry. So send us your poems. They could be haikus. They can be
Triple threats.
They can be long form. You could send us a long form poem, an epic poem, the Battle of Trafalgar, anything you want. We will publish it for you, and we will make sure it gets recognition. So we want that. The other thing we really want, and Stacye, we should make an attempt at this before we go, is for every one of our movies, at least going forward, but if we can do our back catalog, that would be even better. We want to make a drinking game. We want, there's only one out there now, and it's for Birdemic.
And that one will kill you.
Yeah, well, okay. So send us your ideas send us both your poetry, send us your ideas for a drinking game.
What happens if it's a poetic drinking game?
Oh, Stacye, don't get so don't confuse. sscringefest@gmail.com or
my cup is empty.
Send us a message on Instagram or Facebook Messenger or
401-400-2096.
You can call us. You're right.
Or text us.
401-400-2096. Leave us a message. We'll transpose it and create an entry on the webpage for you. And unless it's something that would violate some ruling by the Supreme Court, we will post it immediately, and you'll be out there. You'll be published. You'll be a published
artist,
poet. You can add that to your resume.
Mm-hmm.
So, Stacye, before we go, we need to do a drinking game for the movie house.
Every time they say Jimmy, you need to take a shot.
Okay, Jimmy's a good one. I've got. Let's see. Anytime Bob has a flashback to Vietnam.
That was actually going to be my second guess.
Okay. So
and every time you see Norm.
Every time?
You see him like 7 times in the movie. Now, granted, it's 7 times in the later movie.
Okay. All right.
Oh, okay. I got one. I got one that's a safe one that's not.
How about when anybody you're watching with the movie with shouts, Norm?
No, that's the last one. Here's a safer one that doesn't happen a lot. Is every time they mention he's an author.
Okay.
Are you writing your new book? I loved your old book.
Okay, I like that.
Now, can I go to bed? I can't go to bed. You're 4 hours ahead of me, and I want to go to bed.
We're gonna finish this podcast. What are you doing here? We're in the middle of a podcast.
I finished my bottle of wine.
Have you ever heard anybody in any sort of media ever? Have you ever heard Jimmy Kimmel's sidekick say, "Can we go to bed?"
I don't know. I don't watch Jimmy Kimmel.
Because you're in bed. Okay.
Yes.
I think another thing would be when the dead ant appears.
Oh, that's a good one. That's actually a really good one.
Okay.
Or they take a outdoor shot of the house.
Oh no, that would get us. That people would die from that.
Don't use hard alcohol.
Yeah.
Use a lager, which is the beer flavored water.
Okay. Something about the neighbor that has the.
Can we just cut this off, please?
Really?
I'm tired, and I have a joke that has been at the tip of my tongue
Okay.
This whole time. And I want to do my joke.
Rip it off.
I can't do my joke if we're still doing this.
All right. Okay. All right. So we will ask our cringers to come up with a few more drinking game things for the movie house. I think anytime Dr. House says
going forward,
you're a liar, that you should take a drink. Anytime Dr. House takes an oxycodone, you should take a drink. Okay. All right. Well, apparently, judging by Stacey's expression and the fact that she looks very annoyed, we're going to wrap up this section about coming up with a drinking game for this movie.
And poetry for anything that you feel that you need to wax poetic.
We already wrapped up poetry. Now I'm wrapping.
Well, then, okay. So can I wrap up the show?
If you must, if you must, you can wrap up. Oh my God. Is that the bear you got at Cracker Barrel? Is that it? Oh God.
Sitting on this joke like half an hour.
Why did you buy a bear at Cracker Barrel? Seriously.
I couldn't find a keychain.
Because you couldn't find a keychain.
I told Steve I was going to buy a bear, either from Build-A-Bear or someplace else. And I found...
And Steve went outside, and I tried to corral you. I tried to point you to the, like, look, here's a cinnamon stick. Buy this stick of cinnamon. And
okay, cringers, don't be afraid of clicking on that algorithm and seeing where it takes you. I hope it takes you to your house, some drinking games, and maybe some awesome poetry.
Oh, all right. Well, this is gonna go on YouTube. Stacey.
Yes, I love you, and I'm from Cracker Barrel. Don't forget to eat your salt, sugar, and oil.
You really bought you really bought a stuffed bear at Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
At Cracker Barrel.
Yeah.
Do you know how offensive that is? Cracker Barrel has a sign on their window as you walk in that says, "We don't discriminate against anybody."
It's a brown bear.
Yeah, exactly. Our bears are brown. Bite me. But they have to have that. They have to have that song.
Should we take this out because this conversation is partly racist?
No, I'm
showing off my teddy bear that I got at Cracker Barrel because I couldn't find a fucking keychain.
What's next? The Chick-fil-A chicken?
No. We never went there. We discussed why we never went there, and we never went there.
And we will never go there. But we did go to Cracker Barrel, which just really says home of the...
Honestly, I just wanted to play their stupid little peg game.
You went there to play the little peg game. Yes.
Yeah.
That's it. The little golf.
I was told that there were little games.
We got there.
At the table.
You said, do they have the little games with the golf tees and the triangles?
And they did have a shit ton of rocking chairs on sale.
Those rocking chairs are way too expensive. I actually I want to get some from my back porch, and Steve and I looked at all of them, and they're just way too expensive. Like $300. Good night, Cracker Barrel here.
I miss you.
I honestly can't believe you. But what else did you buy at Cracker Barrel?
Gnome. Sweet Gnome. There's no place like Gnome. I can't remember. I have to. Oh, by the way, the tag, the little sticker. I was peeling off the price sticker, and the paint started peeling off. And I was like, okay, maybe I'll leave it on there. And then I thought, no, that's tacky. So I took that sticker off. And then the bottom sticker said something about being tested for formaldehyde. And I kept that sticker on there because
that's a good one. Yeah.
It was tested for formaldehyde.
You always want to know that. Didn't you buy collars for your dogs at Cracker Barrel?
Dogfish Head.
You bought those at Dogfish Head.
And then at the
you bought something to match those collars, right?
No, and Lewis, I had to get a bow tie that matched the colors.
Because bow tie for
Dexter looks amazing, and Dexter has to have a bow tie. He sits side saddle. He just like, poof. I've never seen a corgi sit like him, so he needs a bow tie.
Okay. So, will you take a picture of Dexter with his new collar and his new bow tie on and post it to our Cringe Fest Facebook page?
I'll put the boys in their new collars tomorrow.
Did Speedy get a bow tie also?
No, Speedy does not like bow ties. Speedy is and Dexter's a.
Okay, you can't do facial gestures. It's a lot.
You can post this on YouTube.
You are?
So the personality, Speedy does not have the personality of a bow tie, but Dexter really has the personality of a bow tie.
Okay, Dexter's a fancy guy. He likes to look good.
He sits side saddle. Speedy will sit there going, "How you doing?"
Okay, Dexter, though, likes to look good.
Dexter looks good in a bow tie.
Dexter looks good. Good for Dexter. Man, I love it. Who has the big ears?
Speedy.
That's Speedy. I mean, they both have big ears.
No, Dexter does not have big ears.
His ears are huge.
No, his ears
Speedy's
are
like a
things.
kangaroo.
No, they're two different dogs.
No, I get that. I get that. But Dexter's ears are like a dog with big ears.
Fox. No, Dexter's ears are more like a fox.
No, they're bigger.
No, they're not.
And Speedy's ears are like an elephant. They're giant.
So Speedy's uncle was named Radar.
But yes, you've told me that about Radar O'Reilly.
Yep, because he's always right behind you when you're calling him.
Yeah.
And he had big ears.
And he's got big. But I don't think Radar had really particularly big ears.
No, but Radar the dog had Radar dish ears. Remember, my dad was a phone man.
Who's Radar the dog? I don't know Radar the dog.
Radar the dog is Speedy's uncle, which is the dog my mom and dad own.
God, I should have known that.
You should have
not known that.
How could you not have?
I have forgotten. I'm so sorry.
No, you're not.
I am. I really am.
Oh, okay.
All right.
So
I have my notebook here. I take notes.
I know. That's why I hid stuff.
I know, but
notebook.
I missed that. I gotta get it put into a database so I can quickly. Oh God, here comes the bear again.
Good night, Cringers.
Good night, stupid looking bear with the bear. It's a brown bear with a bright yellow nose. What does it say on his stomach? In bright yellow feet. Does it say Cracker Barrel on his feet? Oh my God, it does. It says Cracker Barrel.
Buying the bears. I wanted something with the logo. And look, it's tied to the bear. It's literally tied to the bear. Oh. His little apron is tied to him. They sewed, this poor bear had to deal with all those needles going into his back to tie
and
this
you looked at it and said, I could buy all these classic sodas that they have. I could buy all these candy bars that hadn't been made for 50 years. I could buy Whorehound candy, but no.
I did buy my Princess Peep at the same time. My pink, because the whole thing about the news, my pink Princess Peep.
Pink, what? Okay, no, I didn't see that. Was that in that giant bag of stuff you brought out while Steve and I were sitting outside?
I was left unattended.
Cracker Barrel, enjoying life, smoking cigars, drinking brandy. And you were in there shopping. What is this pink Peep?
You saw it.
It's like a big thing, right?
Good night, Steve.
Help me remember what this peep looked like. So you bought like an after Easter Peep.
Well, technically it was on Easter, so it's fair.
Okay, all right. Okay.
It's a little cardboard castle.
Yeah.
There's a 4-pack of Peeps. And
I did see that.
And she had a silver crown.
And a big Peep with a crown. Like the Lord God Peep. Yes. This Peep has arisen on Easter. It's ascending. That's what I
mean, if you're calling it ascending, yes. Technically, it did fly the Mile High Club 3 times.
I thought that was the peep of all peeps, the Lord of the Peeps.
No, the Lord of the Peeps is my body pillow peep.
I don't want to even hear about that.
It's 3 feet tall.
That's for our eventual Patreon. You can talk about your body pillow.
And my drive home.
Yeah. I found a notebook I'm going to send you. It's titled "Things That Piss Me Off."
Oh my God, I can't believe you were pushing me so hard to make a list about things that piss me off. I'm pissed off about the list about things that piss me off.
We're driving in the car for like 4 days, right? Over and over with the car. And every time we're in the car, something annoyed Stacye. Chickens? What do they have chickens in Delaware?
All right. The Cringers have had to listen to
so
much East Coast talk.
And so I came up with this strategy.
Which was horrible. And I'm upset about the strategy.
But it was a strategy.
It didn't work at all.
I'm not saying it worked. It was a strategy to help Stacye deal with these things that make her angry. And I should say there are a lot of them.
What you think is angry is not angry to me. It's just annoying to me. But I say it out loudly, with a lot of curse words, and therefore I am pissed.
That's where I was going to go. That's what your use of adjectives is.
That's what we're calling them now.
Phenomenal. And so I said to Stacye, you should get a book about a spiral notebook and write down, these are the things that annoy me. Well, I think we should sign off now. What do you think?
I've been trying to do that for like half an hour.
I know. This is going to be a real challenge to edit.
Yeah, so I'm saying you should do an East Coast podcast and then a house podcast.
I don't have a good way of breaking it up unless we want to.
I'm going to say that's a you problem.
Okay, unless you want to re-record several little snippets to make it flow nicely.
Do you want to re-record house tomorrow when we're not so hopped up on the East Coast trip?
No.
Oh, I was actually thinking that I wouldn't mind it.
No, I would mind it. I'd rather watch a movie.
You want to watch a movie tomorrow?
Stevie's going to be home tomorrow. He's not going to be
schedule.
Home. Oh, new schedule. Okay. All right. Yes, if you want to watch a movie tomorrow, I would love that.
All right, we'll talk about that later. I'm going to go.
Okay. Well, do your outro, because the one time I didn't let...
and I did the bear.
Yeah, but you didn't say, okay, Cringers.
Yeah, and then click on the algorithm.
You didn't do the algorithm.
I did.
You didn't. Remember,
when you edit this, you're going to regret this whole conversation.
All right. But just remember the one time you didn't do it, how upset you were. And I had to go find it from another episode and chop it in.
Thanks for that sausage and peek behind the curtain.
I'm not going to put that on the podcast. Okay.
What's the time?
Oh, Jesus Christ. I don't know. We're 2 hours.
I'm about to do the outro is what I'm telling you. You should make a time mark.
No, I'll figure it. Okay.
Okay, Cringers. Till the next time.
No. Start again. Okay. Because I was still talking when you said okay.
Okay, Cringers. Till the next time. Keep that algorithm guessing and never be afraid of clicking on that movie, because you never know where it's gonna take you. It may take you to Cracker Barrel.
Oh my God. This bear is going to be in every podcast from now on, isn't it? Oh, no. He says, no. Good night, everybody.
I don't even know if I can redo that voice right now, let alone in a week.
Good night, children. Don't be like Stacye, okay? If you're young and impressionable, you have a negative role model. You have oh, she looks all offended.
You shouldn't talk about yourself that way.
Oh no, I'm way past that. No. Don't unless you want to have a dying old man as your role model.
Not dying.
And I don't think you want to do that. Not at this point. Later.
Good night, Cringers.
We love you.
So much. Yeah. So much.
And I think we kind of have learned that we kind of love each other too.
So much.
Yeah, a lot. All right. So when are you coming back, Stacye? Next week?
About 3 years from now.
3 years? All right. Well, Drog and I are coming up next year.
That's why I said 3 years, is because you guys are probably going to take a cruise up here.
Yeah.
And that will give me time
Draga tells
to recuperate
me
from all the flights.
I have to come take a cruise to see you next year with her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Well, it'll be fun. We'll have fun. Yeah. All right. Good night, everybody. Stacye loves you.
Steve loves you.
She says that. I kind of tolerate her. All right. Good night.
Stacye and Steve's Cringe Fest is a production of How It's Day Old Clams. Like, share, and review us on your favorite podcast service. Our music was composed by Tony Longworth. Email us at sscringefest@gmail.com. Text us or leave us voicemail at 401-400-2096. I'm Hal, your announcer, wishing you peace and love.